Let's go. This is the JMG Live Music Lounge podcast with Jakari Harris. Interviews with music artists and special guests from around the world. What's up, everybody? I'm Jakari Harris, the host of the JMG Live Music Lounge. In today's episode, we have an interview with actor and author Darryl Stephens. Now, I was looking forward to this interview because I have been a fan of Darryl since the early 2000s when he starred in the Dirk Shafer film Circuit. Then, of course, most people remember Darryl as Noah from the trailblazing TV show Noah's Ark. But Darryl has starred in other TV shows and films over the years, including the movie Boy Culture that came out in 2006. Well, the sequel to Boy Culture, called Boy Culture Generation X, was just released on November 7th on all of the streaming platforms. So Darryl and I talked about his character Andrew from Boy Culture, how he got started as an actor, and yes, I took him back to 2001 to talk about his role as Julian in Circuit.
JMG Live Music Lounge.
So your new movie, Boy Culture Generation X, is going to be released on November the 7th. I know you're excited about it. What can you tell us, for those who've never seen Boy Culture, the first one that came out in 2006, how would you describe Andrew, your character, for those who've never seen the movie before?
First of all, go see the movie. No.
Definitely.
The character Andrew was actually, I don't know if you read the book, but in the book, Matthew Rettenman's book, he was a corn-fed white boy with kind of simple. Alan Broca, who's the director, co-writer of the film, the original film, decided to make him Black, and in doing so gave him a little bit more of an edge. And he is a quiet guy. He's not really much of a talker, but he feels things, and he's going through stuff. So he is, in the movie, he is kind of figuring out how to come out to his family in the original movie, film in 2006. He's trying to figure out how to come out to his family. He's trying to figure out how to process his feelings for his roommate, who happens to also be a male escort, hustler, high-end hustler. And he is, I think that's pretty much what I would say about Andrew. That's pretty much him in a nutshell, I would say.
Mm-hmm. And what made you decide to be part of the sequel? Like, what made you say, yes, I want to sign on and be a part of part 2?
I really loved the first film. I really loved shooting it. We shot it in Seattle. Alan Broca directed the first film as well. And he is a director who really gives you space to create, but also is very specific about what he wants and what needs to happen in the scene. And he communicates it very effectively. And I enjoy working with artists who understand how to talk to actors. So when he approached me about the sequel, I was like, yeah. I hadn't even read the script, and I was like, yeah, sign me up.
You'll do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So also, I think that at the time when the sequel was proposed, I assumed that everyone was coming back. And then as we got closer to filming, it looked like Derek Magyar, who plays X, was going to be replaced, because was going to have to be recast because he had a timing conflict. And I was really worried because I felt like the magic of the first film was about the 3 characters, right? Or the 4 characters, including Gregory. And without him, it was just going to be me. And I was feeling like, okay, I don't know who this new actor is going to be, but is it going to feel like the same world? It's just going to be
right
Darryl with a bunch of other people. So when we got, I think it was 2 days before we started shooting, and we found out that Derek was actually going to be in it. And I was so relieved because, Derek and I over the process of shooting that film had developed sort of an understanding of one another as actors and as people. And we've kept in touch over the years. And I was excited to work with him again. And it was a relief that he came back.
So did they recast it with somebody else? And did you meet the new
There had been,
person and then they
I
switched back
never
to
met,
Derek?
I never met the new person. I knew the new person. I seen some of their work. And I was like, he's good, but it's not Derek.
Yeah.
So even, no shade to the other actor. I'm very happy that Derek came back.
Yeah, because y'all had definitely had synergy. Y'all had worked together. I mean, there was kind of like this energy between the two of y'all. So I guess it'd be kind of risky to bring somebody else on to play that role because you never know how the two of you would interact with each other, you know?
Especially so many years later. And
Hmm.
what's different about this film is in the first film, they live together and they are roommates, but they both have feelings for each other. And by the end of the first film, they finally connect. And where this film picks up is ostensibly 10 years, 7 to 10 years later. And they have ended their relationship, and X has gone back to hustling
Hmm.
later in life, a late in life hustler in LA. So we've left Seattle, moved to LA. And because of the nature of their relationship at this point in the story, it felt like we needed that history to be there to make any of it work. If the history wasn't there, the two characters, if the two actors didn't know each other, the two characters wouldn't have that sort of built-in history.
Right, right.
I was very relieved when Derek finally found out that he could do it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with you because if you watched the first one in 2006 and then you want to watch the sequel, you want to see you and Derek
I
together,
want to
you know?
see, yeah, Andrew and X
Yeah.
back again.
Definitely, definitely. So when you what do you hope fans will take away after seeing this film? Like, obviously you guys have been planning it for years. It's now about to be released. After people see it, what do you hope the big takeaway is after watching it?
That's a good question. I would say that one of the themes that felt very clear to me in this film was that gay men age like everybody else, and it's challenging for us to figure out who we want to be. I would say that in a more specific way, gay men have career ambitions, and because many of us don't have family. I mean, I have a family, but don't have kids,
Media
husbands,
family.
that stuff, and that sort of family. Um, Many of us define ourselves by our careers, and we are sort of figuring out as we're figuring out who we are as men or as people. Um, we're basing a lot of what we understand we can offer the world on our jobs and what we do. And in this particular film, Andrew is his relationship is over. He's realizing he's not happy with where he is career wise. He's sort of at this crossroads of, okay, am I just going to continue being like the regional manager of this accounting firm, or am I going to really figure out who I want to be and make an impact on the world? And I think that that's something that everybody goes through, but that gay men
Hmm.
go through, in a very significant way, because so many of us are really just kind of going at it on our own, right? Like we have to figure out what our legacy is going to be, what our impact on the world is going to be, and many of us are doing that, maybe with a boyfriend, maybe with a partner, or even a husband. But once you have a kid, I can say this from experience. I have a 3-year-old. Once you have a kid, your legacy becomes the kid, so your career
Hmm.
falls somewhere over there, right? That stuff that doesn't matter. Your real legacy is this human being. Um, And I think that Andrew is at this point where he's recognizing he's not happy with his legacy at this point, and he has to figure out, without his relationship, without who he thought was going to be his partner for his life, who is he? What does he have to offer the world? So all that is to say, your question was, what do I hope audiences take away from this? I would say I would hope audiences take away, and also to go back, X is also kind of in a similar place. He's figuring out, okay, I was a hustler when I was, 27, 30. whatever that age was. Now I'm approaching 40 or well into 40s. And that looks different. And people are responding to me differently. What does that mean about, how I want my future to look? I think that the idea is that as we get older, we really have to figure out who we are and what we're offering the world. And I think that, along with all the conversations around race and ageism and the sex industry, all those things, I think that that's what I would hope audiences take away is we have to, as you get into your, 40s, late 30s, mid 40s, whatever that is, start to figure out who you are and what you want to offer the world and what you want your impact to be, your legacy to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that really was a relatable moment in the movie. It was like a little light bulb moment because I think people do think about, okay, where am I in life at this moment? What is my big impact? Which road am I heading down? So that was a relatable moment when I saw that myself.
And Andrew has a little freak out about it. I think he really,
Hmm.
um, I don't think that he had been focused on it when he was happy in his relationship. And I think that you can step out of a relationship and suddenly you're by yourself and you're looking around. And you're like, wait, what is all this? How did I get here? And what
Yeah.
am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really interesting story to tackle. And I think that they did it. The writers, Alan and Matthew Rettenmund, did a great job of exploring that.
Yeah, there were a couple of good scenes that I like, and I'm not going to give away any spoilers because I don't know if you've talked about this in other interviews, but one of your castmates from Noah's Ark appeared in the movie, and I'm not going to say who, but how was it to work with him in this capacity in this film, and was it your idea to bring him on board?
No, Alan cast him completely separate from me. But when I read the role and I found out he was playing it, I was like, oh my God, he's going to nail that. And as you know, the scene is
He did, and he did.
it's a tough scene.
Yeah.
I think he brings some weight to it in a way that I honestly can't think of another actor who could have pulled that off. So I'm really happy he's in it. I wasn't in the scene with him. We were on set together because we're in the house at the same time, as you may recall.
Mhm.
But it was great to see him. And he's another. We haven't said his name yet, but he's another actor I keep in touch with and talk to all the time. So
Okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that's a hard scene just because, and again, I don't want to give away too much, but yeah, he pulled that off. He pulled that
yeah,
off. Yeah.
even Andrew's response to that scene, I felt like I struggled a little bit because I know that we don't have that much time.
Hmm.
But I felt like I really wanted him to sit down and have a real conversation about what were you doing? How was that? How did that happen? And X explains it, and Andrew accepts it. And for me, I was like, I still have questions. If I was
Right,
Andrew, I still have
right,
questions, right?
right, right.
Andrew didn't see that scene that took place in the room with X and that character, but whew, yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot.
Yeah, yeah, it was. I was first introduced, so the first time I ever saw you was in 2001 in the movie circuit.
Oh my God.
And yes, yes,
You
way
realize
before
how,
those
you
started.
realize how long ago that was?
Yes, that's just over
Man,
20 years ago.
that was 22.
Um,
Wow.
and I was, when I first saw you in the movie, because I was always big into dance music and I was, going to clubs at the time as well. And so seeing a black gay DJ in this movie, because I'm located in Houston, and at the time I didn't see too many black gay DJs. So when you were in the movie, I'm like, oh, there's a black gay DJ, and I'm like, okay, I need to go
Cowboy
find.
hat, even speaking of Houston, yeah.
Right, right. You even had a cowboy hat in one of the scenes. Describe that experience in making circuit, and it's been such a big part, because it highlighted the circuit culture within the LGBTQ community. What was that process for you to be in this film? I think you were the only black actor in the film. What was that experience like being in circuit and making circuit?
Dirk Shafer directed that film. Rest in peace. He's passed on. But as I recall, I mean, remember, this is 22 years ago, and I'm a dad now, so I got dad brain. I can't remember what I did yesterday, so bear with me. it felt like a circuit party. It was a lot of white people,
Hmm.
surrounded by white people. And I think that a lot of black folks at circuit parties feel that.
Yep.
He even said to me at some point, Dirk pulled me aside and said, in the next movie, you'll have more lines or something like that. I know we're not using you enough, but in the next movie, you'll have more lines. Now I've written some stuff. Now I've gotten into writing, and I know that when you have a lot of characters, there was a lot going on in that movie. Uh, it's tough to give everybody like their own arc and storyline and all that stuff. And I think that for God, I have no idea what that character's name was. Julian, maybe?
Julian. Yeah.
Yeah. Julian. Julian had his own sort of arc, really. I mean, he kind of went through, I think by the end, he was like, your negativity can't affect me or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So he was kind of done with that world, I think, toward the end, or done with those characters. But what I really love, there was a moment in that movie that I wasn't involved in that I loved so much. I just thought it was so beautifully captured. It was when they were driving. I think they're high. The two main guys,
Hmm. Hmm.
the one main guy, and they pull up to an intersection or a stoplight.
Hector and John and the
Oh,
dog.
dog leans over and I was like,
Yep.
that is such a beautiful moment to capture in a film about being high in LA and just
Hmm.
that I don't know how they did it and how they shot that, but
That was a good scene.
it
That
was
was a good
beautiful.
scene. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I think Julian did have his own arc. He had his own kind of, because of his boyfriend, he had his own little story. We would have loved to see more of Julian. There should have been a Circuit Part 2 starring Julian. But yeah, I mean, I think from the role that you had and the performance, it was great, and the story
Uh,
was great as well. So
very
definitely would
generous.
have wanted to see more of him. But it was just really good. And so every time I see you, I not only think about Noah's Ark, but I also think about Circuit because that was my first introduction into who Darryl Stephens is as an actor.
That
So
is crazy. You have a reference that very few people who are still talking about it have. So I appreciate that.
yeah. And so how did you get started in acting?
College, I was actually, well, technically high school, I was in the show choir and the dance production classes. And when I got to, I went to UC Berkeley. When I got to college, I felt like I was going to miss performing. So I just got into an acting class, really just to break up all the lectures and the talking.
Hmm.
Like I wanted to do something that was, I could interact with other people in a different way. And just, I didn't want to miss being on stage because I really did sort of love being on stage. And while I was in college taking acting classes, there were, plays, productions that were put on by the grad students at UC Berkeley in
Hmm.
the department. And I got involved with one of the grad students whose name was John Fisher, is still to this day John Fisher. And he developed what became a theater troupe when we did very gay, very almost academic, I would say also, because he was very smart. He's very smart. And his plays were super gay, but also very historically involved, evocative, whatever. And he sort of wrote me into his little troupe, and I did plays all over San Francisco for a few years before I moved back to LA when I finished college. And so that's kind of how I got into acting. I mean, I got in on stage and then really sort of kind of started a career in San Francisco. We were acting every night. I was doing school, but also performing plays on the weekends. So when I came to LA, when I moved to LA, it felt like, okay, well, you have some experience. You're not going to be in LA and not do something with that experience. So I tried it, and it, somehow it worked. I don't know how, but I believe if you keep bumping your head against the wall, eventually the wall is going to break. And
Right. Right. They did. That's very good. Do you have any other projects that you're currently working on that we should know about?
The only projects that I'm currently working on, because we're in a strike, so nothing is being shot now. Nothing. The only things that have been shot are the thing we talked about earlier that we cannot talk
Mhm.
about,
Right. Right.
boy culture. So those things are in the can, as they say. But I am actually shooting something I co-wrote with my buddy Kyle Puccia. We're shooting it in December. It's a low budget. It's really a pilot, but we're shooting it as a low budget short film for it's a series about a high school student, trans masculine high school student.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be looking out for it. Is there anything else that we didn't discuss that you'd like to mention about the movie or anything else that you got going on?
We didn't talk about Jason Casares. That's how I say his last name. Jason Casares is how you say his last name. Who plays Chase in the film? Jason.
Yes.
I'll say his name right. Casares. Who is brilliant. I think he is one of those. He is. We don't have Jonathan Trent in this film. Jonathan played Joey
in the original. Yep.
He was the twink that everyone fell in love with, and
I was watching him earlier.
He didn't come back for this. Yeah, the idea, I guess, is that when X and Andrew got together, they moved to LA, and Joey probably stayed in Seattle and married a bear or something. I don't know. So the new twink on the scene is Jason Caceres, and he is a comic genius. He really brings some great energy to the show, and it's the film. It was a series. It was a 6-part mini-series before they mashed it together and made it into a movie. Did you know that?
Boy Culture? No, I didn't know that.
The second one, Generation X. It was called Boy Culture, the series, and then you'll see there each little story.
Yeah, I saw how it was
clipped. Each John kind of has.
Yes. I saw that. Yeah.
Episodes. I don't know if they want me to talk about that, but I said it too late. Anyway, I just felt like Jason really brought some great comedy to it. Because I don't really get to be super funny. Like Andrew's not a very funny guy. He's not the zippy queen. He's kind of the dude with the brooding guy with his questions about life and relationship, insecurity and shit like that. But Jason brings all the zip and sass that you can contain on the screen. So I'm excited for audiences to meet him.
Another scene that I really liked that I thought was probably one of the funniest, and I don't even know if I can even mention this, with the two ladies and X.
Yes.
What did you think about that scene? Whatever little bit you can talk about.
I love seeing Dalila Ali Raja in something that I'm doing. She played the sister in the I think that was a really interesting story, because I do think that there's this, can we talk about that? I don't even know if we talk about that.
Yeah, I don't know, because
the way the story unfolds, somebody else I'll talk about. I want to give props to somebody who I think is brilliant in the film. He comes toward the end. His name is Ralph Cole Jr., and he plays, a supervillain. I don't remember, something with bottoms in it.
Yes. When they were dressed up in yeah.
And that story, his performance, for me, kind of steals the whole movie. I think that there's just something so beautiful about seeing this man at this age share that story, and it's at the end of the film, and it kind of helps to sum up what's going on in the relationship in a way. And I think Ralph Cole Jr. in this film is also just stellar, and I want everybody who sees this movie to be like, oh, that guy, because that guy, he's great.
JMG Live Music Lounge.
Subscribe to the JMG Live Music Lounge and be sure to follow us on social media.